Hello and welcome to another Here's the Storm Quick Tip. Today I wanted to cover macro comps, or otherwise a hyper carry comp, where your main goal is primarily not playing the objective of the map, but rather playing a single hero in your comp. And usually the idea is you reach level 20, and then once that turns on, you gain a major advantage in the remaining fights of the game. You usually see this with Abathur, where you get Hive Mind at 20, Illidan, where all his late game talents come into play, and suddenly he is a macro monster on his own. If he's ever left unattended on a keep or core, he can just end on his own at 20 with the Metamorphosis upgrade, or even just good play in general, and using like Global Hunt to like sneak around and pick somebody off. In this case, we have one of the classic ones in Nazebo, and we're on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So this was actually one of our playoff matches. And so, as you can see, this is our comp. The primary goal of this comp is to just get 20. And as soon as we get 20, we want to either get a turn in and just force heavily with our essentially 6v5, or take boss, or otherwise, if we get a wipe, then we are almost guaranteed to keep because of the siege potential of level 20 Vile Infection Nazebo. And so you may look at these bans and these draft and ask why exactly we went this route. And a big part of that that's underrated is that these are our comfort picks. So in coordinated play, you'll have a theoretical best comp, which would include more wave clear here. Like you would pick a solo laner with better wave clear, like say a Sonya or maybe a Thrall or something, along those lines. And same thing, the healer is a Tyrande, specifically because our healer is very, very good at Tyrande, and so that's why we picked him. And the reason we have so many tank bans is because we were trying to tank choke our opponent's tank player, because again, this is the end of the season, this is playoffs, we know what they're going to pick. And so in coordinated play, you can make target bans like this, and in this case, we forced them onto a Muradin, a tank they weren't necessarily comfortable with, whereas I still got to play a tank I don't mind playing. For the map, it's not as great as it could be, but she does have a lot of zone control, which is important for fighting over turn-ins and anti-siege. And so, while this comp is definitely not ideal to enable a Nazebo hypercarry, it's enough, essentially. And so what you'll see is our opponents have a generalized comp. They have a wombo combo, essentially. They want to go ahead and Gravo Bomb and then follow up with Orphea. Either Eternal Feast or Crushing Jaws are both good into her spell blow up. They also have good single target kill with Muradin and just any good follow up late game. So something to consider. And so you can see the takedowns are very low, and essentially we lost very slowly in this game. We lost almost all of our structures to get 20, and then we lost our final keep, but it didn't matter because we had a Nazebo with almost 300 stacks, and we had a turn in. And so all we had to do was fight. We got one kill, we got a turn in, and we won the game off that kill because our comp finally did what it's supposed to do. And again, a Nazebo with, say, 300 stacks, even 200 in Vile Infection, is already essentially a second player, but with 300, it really does feel like two heroes for the price of one. And so you can see in our stats, these deaths were essentially just pickoffs where we got caught out and killed, and their deaths were essentially two of them were the same, and then the other ones were they'd lose one or two heroes in a team fight, and that's it. So very few deaths, and they had the better gem economy, but didn't matter because we reached the goal of our comp, which is to get Nazebo stacked and online. And so because we did that, we beat them in one fight by getting one kill in the late game, and we won from there. We just turned in and walked to their core and ended the game. And so that's a good example of like what a hypercarry comp is and what you're looking to do. We didn't mind giving up all our structures as long as our core's alive, and we get to 20, we know we have a shot at winning the game. All right, so that is the goal of a hyper carry. Thank you all for watching, and have a great night.